Hi, it's time to talk about this piece of garbage of a game. Oh wait, this is not a dumb hater video. Lol, my bad. I was in the mood to play Mushroom Kingdom Fusion again, and since I heard there was a new revision of the game, I decided to download said revision, which at the time of this recording is version 0.88, revision C hotfix. I definitely have mixed feelings about this new version of the game. So today I'm gonna sort of rip off Nico Evaluates by sort of evaluating this release of Mushroom Kingdom Fusion. But before I get to the negatives, I'll talk about what I liked about this version of the game first. From what I played, it definitely has a lot of improvements on the levels. I overall liked the new graphical overhaul that the levels and maps have received. I still stand by what I said in my video on the Twisted Reality world and how I think they should focus more in finishing the game in terms of adding the missing levels in the final boss instead of polishing stuff, but despite that, I still think that most of the aesthetic level changes are good, so at least there is that. There is however, something about the reworked level design that I wanna talk about, but I'll save it for later. What I also liked is that new levels have been added, including planned levels that were previously missing from past releases of the game. I was glad to finally being able to tackle the Fusionist's lab level. It was certainly hard, but not impossible. Hell, I was even able to beat it twice without dying once. I'll show that off in a separate video. Although I was kinda disappointed that I couldn't see the Fusionist himself and his Julius Bellman based sprite, but oh well. Speaking of a Castlevania character, I certainly like the new Simon Belmont sprite. Although, I understand other people might have liked his previous Super Castlevania 4 sprite more, but you can always replace sprites. Oh wait, that's not quite true, but I'll save that for later. Anyways. Generally speaking, I can definitely say that most of the levels in this game are challenging, but fairly doable. So there you go, those are the positives I found from what I played so far. Now, onto the things I didn't like about this new release of the game. I don't like how it seems like you are not allowed to beat all of the levels of a world, due to needing the key you get by beating the boss of the very world you are currently in, but you seemingly need to take mandatory detours to other worlds to do that. Another design choice I might not like is that it seems like the devs are planning to make all of the characters unlockables as you play the game. I think I'm not gonna like that at all. Sometimes I don't have the time, patience, or general interest in having to play portions of a game with a character I might not care for like role, just so I can play as the characters I like. I sometimes stop playing a game because of that. I also don't care for this role sprite. They should have used her Mega Man 1 mobile sprite instead, but anyway. I noticed that you can't go to the Twisted Reality world anymore just by using debug mode, but honestly, that's not a big deal. You can probably still sort of cheat your way to see that world by beating every last boss from every world while cheating your way through the level, assuming the game is not missing bosses in certain worlds, but I digress. Hey, guess what? I actually tried beating all of the world bosses. And sure enough, when I beat all of them, the keys I got from them did absolutely nothing at all. I later found out from the MKF wiki that it is indeed impossible to access World 0 Twisted Reality in this build of the game, so that kinda sucks. It would have been nice if they would have let you access the world if you beat all of the world bosses as sort of a preview Easter egg. But now I'm curious about if this public build has any data or levels at all for World 0. The only thing I found on the games folders was the song for World 0. It seems like they are still going to use that song from Klonoa 2 as the map song. I say, keep that song. Anyway, it's kind of a shame you can't see at least a preview of World 0 unless you hack the game, I guess. To be honest, this world and Gehenna are the most interesting worlds in the game to me in sort of an intriguing way. I also wanna point out that the rest of the world bosses after Wily have no dialogue whatsoever. Not even Eggman says anything. Also, the world boss of World 9 seems more like a placeholder mini-boss rather than an actual world boss. It's a Zeta Metroid rather than Mother Brain or the Queen Metroid from Metroid 2 or even Andross from Star Fox, but anyway. I don't like the new Sonic and Tails sprite they added for this revision. They seem to be based on their sprites from Sonic Chaos / Sonic and Tails. I'm sorry, but most of Sonic and Friends sprites from the 8-bit Master System and Game Gear games are horrible because they are usually poorly drawn.
Sonic kind of took a hit in sprite quality in this version. Where's his goddamn nose? That shit is just gone. You ever see a Sonic without his nose? It's like Mario without his mustache. It's unnatural and needs to die immediately.
I don't understand why would you want to use sprites based on those, when Sonic already had a decent looking sprite in this game, if you ask me, unless the person who made the previous sprite requested his sprites to be removed from the game. I also didn't like how they replaced the Super Princess Peach sprite of the Enemy Rex with the regular ass Super Mario World sprite. I think they did the same with another SMW enemy, but I can't recall which one, but anyways. I guess I'll just replace the character sprites. But that does lead to a major inconvenience for anybody that might wanna mod the graphics of the game. You might actually have just said to me, just replace the sprites that you can find in one of the game's folders. You have seemingly done that in the past, but sadly, I found out that trying to modify the sprites and graphics of the game with Windows Paint doesn't work anymore. Let me explain. If you watched my previous videos about Mushroom Kingdom Fusion, you would see that I have actually been unofficially making sound and graphical mods for this game over the years and showcasing them on my channel. However, when I tried to apply my sprite mods onto this new version of the game, it actually had this problem, where the sprite graphic was showing a color that is not meant to be seen in game. No matter what I tried, I couldn't find a solution to this problem. I tried using the Windows XP version of Paint to see if I could solve the problem, but sadly that did not work either. By the way, I tried Paint XP because sometimes that can fix issues like sprites not being displayed correctly in certain PC games with Microsoft Paint based sprite mods, and the game in general being made when the main Microsoft operating system was Windows XP. So, yeah, this is definitely a major step down for me and anybody who makes graphic mods for this game. Although to be fair, this version of the game didn't give me any trouble when modifying sound files, unlike previous versions of the game. By the way, no, I don't wanna bother to download external programs to be able to mod the sprites and graphics, unless they are small in file size and easy to use. But onto the next topic. I noticed some of the existing levels were either modified or removed. For example, the Leviathan level from World 5 Gehenna is missing a whole section. At first I thought they might have used the missing section for the level Corpse of the Behemoth from World 4, the Demon Realm, but that wasn't the case. I definitely didn't like that they removed that section. But you know what else I didn't like? The removal of certain levels like River of Flame. This was a level that was located before the Fusionist's lab, except the Fusionist lab level was not accessible in that build of the game. And before someone says it, no, I'm not gonna go to their Discord server to tell them about these things. I assume some of the devs of this game don't like me anyway, due to some drama that happened between me and them, so no, I'm not going back there ever again. I'm assuming that issue I had with modding graphics might have been something that they might have done on purpose, but I'm just guessing here. Although, that's probably not true, because in the new build of the game, they are actually encouraging people to make sound mods. Hell, this build even gives you more access to the sound files, unlike previous builds of the game, but anywho. Check my video about the Twisted Reality world to know more about the whole drama that happened. But to put it short, I had an idea for the character Vile, and how I think he should be able to shoot upwards, just like he does in Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. But one of the devs had a problem with how I said that, and they muted me, and I left their Discord server shortly after that. I'm pointing that out because it seems like despite those disagreements they had with me, they still implemented some of my ideas in the game, like the poison mushroom sprite being replaced with a rotten meat sprite when playing as Simon Belmont. By the way, I noticed that Mega Man's poison mushroom is just a skull with a Mega Man helmet. I think it should be the skull-shaped, evil energy from Mega Man 8 instead. I'm just saying. It also appears that either the devs of this game or someone on their Discord server watched my video on that Ryu Hayabusa sprite mod I showed off a few years back, and they decided to implement that on this new version of the game. The color palette is very similar to the one from that sprite I used to replace the crappy one taken from Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. By the way, I didn't technically made the sprite mod. I simply replaced the sprites with a different one, made by someone for the game Super Mario crossover. Speaking of Mario, D and Luigi have a new sprite. It kinda looks like they took inspiration from my custom Mario sprite that I made because I thought his other sprite was lame in the color department. In any case, if the devs or anyone else wanna implement the sprites I made, they can do that if they want. I might leave the sprite files and maybe sounds in the description below. Go nuts, but at least give credit for the initiative. I said I wasn't going to share them unless the game was finished, but I'm tired of waiting. And by the time the game is finished, I may not even be around anymore, and all of my sound and sprite mods might end up turning into sort of lost media. You never know what can happen, I'm just saying. Alright, I think that's all for now. See you again, and hopefully, Nintendo won't shut this game down with a copyright nuke, like they did with those Switch emulators. It should work just like the knife from the Ghost and Goblins games, because just like a certain YouTuber said,
It's fast, you can shoot it fast, and it pretty much shits on the javelin just about every way possible.